All right, when we talk base phase, we talk utilizing our zone 2. Zone 2, we've just cut zone 1 off because whatever, it's a recovery. Like we all know, easy, 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 and easier than that, that's zone 1. And then we move on to zone 2, and zone 2, that's what we're focusing on with our base phase. We can touch on some of the other zones, but in reality, like we just have that one main focus, and depending on the athlete, we can leverage those other zones as we see fit. But the base phase is zone 2. That's our correlation. Is there anything you'd want to add to that, Matt?
Well, I would say, zone 1 to zone 2 is endurance pace. So we can kind of have a little bit of that zone 1 in there. I think that's okay if we need to tone down a few periods in the zone 2, because what we see with a lot of athletes is they just push to the top of the zone 2, which, there's a little bit of leeway built into those, I think. But, the whole point is primarily get our energy from fat and to train our ability to create our energy that way. And if we're going fast, we just can't do it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that's just a recap of the energy systems and our zones. And so now we get into base phase 1, like the first phase of base phase.
Yeah, I like how you say that, first phase of base. So like it's base, and base is base, right? It doesn't matter how many times we do it. But the reason we kind of separate it into 1, 2, 3 potentially is because we just can't train forever. And we need to have different phases where we're continuously pushing the boundaries and stepping up with some recovery in between there.
Yeah, that's right. So base phase 1, let's get training, is really a way to introduce more so like new athletes who've just signed up, or if you are an athlete yourself, if you're coming back from injury, like a long break. We're all motivated, we're all encouraged to get out there, push ourselves. And base phase 1 is really trying to establish what is this athlete's training load? What can they handle? What's their weekly structure? How does it all work across 4? I generally like to use 4 weeks, sometimes 6 weeks, depending on how green or new the athlete is. And really, I'm just putting in aerobic training, maybe a specific kind of short interval, long rest kind of workout, so that there's a bit of excitement in there, but not too much physical demand. And then, like what Matt likes to use, some kind of technique-based thing to incorporate, increase the excitement within the workout. But really, base phase 1 is just, you need to figure out what this athlete can handle outside, which can often be very different to what they say they can handle. And alongside what they can handle, also like how much time do they have? How much time are they actually going to be able to dedicate to the training plan? Because I've said it before, I'll say it again, 95% of people do not complete the training plan 100% of the time.
Yeah, and I think like what the athlete has completed before and what they can complete could also be different. So even if we're looking at their past training, it's important to have this kind of a phase just to relearn the athlete, even if they think they know themselves. And we see that in their past training. We need to understand how they respond to different exercise. So it's good to go through this when we start working with a new athlete.
Yeah, and for like your more experienced athlete, base phase 1 is a good way to ensure that their longevity throughout an entire season is maintained, along with motivation, because you're holding them back early. You're not jumping straight into the full-on weekly volume straight out the bat. So from there, we move on to base phase